All right. This week we are dealing with Chapter 9, which is accounting for current liabilities. The um, the learning objectives, I'm not a big fan of the learning objectives, the way the book sketches out what we really need to learn in this week. So with that said, I am going to use this, but what I really see us diving into this week are three categories of liabilities, okay? So this chapter again, we're dealing with current liabilities, and current liabilities are anything that we have to pay or do within 1 year. There's a difference between current liabilities and long-term liabilities. So a long-term liability would be something we're obligated to pay back over multiple years, but longer than 1 year. All right. So this chapter really is dealing with the all of the current or short-term liabilities. And in my mind, there's really three buckets of current liabilities. The first one is known liabilities, known short-term liabilities. And we'll get into that, but it's like sales tax and accounts payable. Those are short-term liabilities that we know the amounts. The second category are short-term liabilities where we have to estimate the amount. And some of the types of those would be um, vacation expense and vacation payable to our employees, right? Or bonuses payable, right? We're not really sure what exactly or when they are going to occur, but we do know that we have to account for them and we have to estimate those amounts. And then the last category would be contingent liabilities, right? So it's not necessarily a liability at the moment, but it could become a liability. And the most common example of those are usually litigations, right? So we could be sued for something completely outlandish, and if it's so outlandish, do we really have to put it on the financial statements? Or if we're sued and it's like, unfortunately, there's a lot of legitimacy to what we're being sued over, like how do we treat that in the financial statements, right? So those are the three categories. Down in the procedural, right? So I've sort of covered this, but down in the procedural, we're practically going to talk about notes payable at some point, and then we're going to talk about employee payroll, right? What are we obligated to pay our employees? And then we have to talk about payroll deductions and so forth. Then P3 is, in addition to paying our employees, we also have to pay payroll taxes, and that generates liabilities. Then we'll talk about warranties and so forth. Um, and I'm not terribly positive on how I'm going to combine C1, C2, and C3 and P1, P2, P3, P4. So hold on. We'll cover it ourselves throughout the week. But like the first one, just describe current and long-term liabilities. I want to say that I just did that. Um, I almost want to say that we already know what liabilities are too, right? It's any obligation to pay something or to do something for somebody else. And then we just said current liabilities, that is this chapter, and that's anything that we have to pay this period. Whereas long-term liabilities are things that we are going to have to pay for over a long period of time. And that's another chapter, a different chapter than this. Uncertain liabilities, again, um, that is one of those categories uh, where we have to estimate, and that's all this slide's really saying. Um, and so I think I will save this section for the next video. Easy video today on this one.